What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. WWE News and Rumors, your first episode of News and Rumors for 2014. This is for the week ending January 5th, 2014. And like I always say, it's going to be another year full of fuck those other guys. Fuck those other guys. This will be your number one source for all WWE news, rumors, thoughts, and opinions for the year 2014. And boy, oh boy, guys, do I have a lot of news for you guys. WrestleMania. WrestleMania is shaping up. Now, I'm taking all this information I'm about to give to you guys with a very, very small grain of salt. WWE doesn't know where they want to go. The rumor mill is going crazy this week. I got news on Cena. I got news on Wyatt. I got news on Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar, Batista, CM Punk, everything regarding WrestleMania. You guys are going to have some kind of idea where the WWE wants to go with WrestleMania 30. But like I said, take this stuff with a grain of salt. Nothing is official yet, but it's fun to talk about. So let's get right into the news, guys. Going to start off with what I think is the biggest story of the week. And just like the headline says, Undertaker wants to work with another top-level superstar. But it's not Brock Lesnar. It is not Brock Lesnar. Undertaker went to WWE officials and wants to work with another name. Let's get into it. Regarding Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker taking place at WrestleMania 30, there had been some concern because Lesnar works a much physical style match and The Undertaker is in really rough shape physically. This reportedly led to some talk of Sheamus facing The Undertaker. Another issue with Lesnar facing Undertaker is that a lot of Taker's opponents, if not all, over the past several years, have secretly worked out their match with him and practiced it before the pay-per-view. There was some concern over whether or not Lesnar would be willing to put in that much time to prepare a match with The Undertaker. PWMania.com reported that WWE has been planning to do Brock Lesnar versus The Big Show at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. This was discussed back when Show was feuding with The Authority. The plan was for Show to be on top and go through Randy Orton and Triple H, but not win the title, but come out of the program as a strong main eventer. The idea was to make Show strong for Lesnar at the Rumble, so Lesnar would look strong for The Undertaker at WrestleMania 30. It is also said that The Undertaker has specifically asked to work with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. No word yet on if this has been discussed internally or anything else of the matter. Now, this is a lot of information to take in. Let's break this down one by one. Okay, I'm going to start off with the most important piece there that I see. Undertaker specifically asked to work with Daniel Bryan. Now, you guys out there have come to know me as a Daniel Bryan fan. Okay, if I was Daniel Bryan and you are concerned about your position in the WWE, Daniel Bryan's made it, folks. Daniel Bryan is a top-level WWE superstar. He is in the he's in the upper echelon. He's at the top of the food chain. Do you want to know why? When The Undertaker specifically, on his own terms, asks WWE officials that he wants to work with you at WrestleMania, I don't give a fuck if you don't have the belt. I don't give a fuck if you don't have a win for the entire year. If The Undertaker is asking you to work with him at WrestleMania, you made it, folks. You're in. You're golden. How many people would die to fight The Undertaker at WrestleMania and have a shot at the streak? Do you know how many people want The Undertaker at WrestleMania, even at his age? Daniel Bryan's made it, folks. If The Undertaker is asked to work with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, he has made it. And let me tell you, if by some way, shape, or form that match happens, Daniel Bryan, listen, I'm not gonna say here, come on here and say he needs to beat The Undertaker. but it would be one hell of a fucking match. It would probably be better for The Undertaker if he did work with Daniel Bryan over Lesnar, and I'll tell you why. I want to see Undertaker vs. Lesnar. That's something I've been wanting to see ever since their confrontation a few years back at a UFC event after Lesnar, was walking right by The Undertaker as The Undertaker was watching his friend in the octagon. Now, I do know Lesnar works a physical style match. We've seen it with Triple H. We've seen it with John Cena. We've seen it with CM Punk. Every time Lesnar's in the ring, I feel like he's going to kill somebody. That's just the way he is. Undertaker, I don't feel like these reports with The Undertaker are, completely factual. Undertaker's been physically drained and physically hurt and having surgery and having this repaired. Meanwhile, he comes back every year and gives you a match of the year. So I really don't believe these reports. If The Undertaker is going to get physical with Brock Lesnar, I am pretty sure he can handle getting physical with Brock Lesnar. Okay? There's no question about that. If The Undertaker is specifically asking for a match with Lesnar and has been wanting a match with Lesnar, obviously he's going to make it work. Obviously Lesnar's going to make it work. The part where Lesnar, the report is talking about, does Lesnar have what it takes, and is he going to be willing to put in that much time to prepare with The Undertaker? Of course he is. Of course he is. This is WrestleMania, folks. This is the greatest stage in all of wrestling. You think Brock Lesnar is going to go in there unprepared? You think The Undertaker is going to have Brock Lesnar go in there unprepared when The Undertaker knows this is his night to shine? One night out of the year, he's coming out of fucking retirement, coming out of fucking Texas, wherever he's coming from, to fly to New Orleans. You think The Undertaker is going to want to put on a lackluster match with Brock Lesnar? You think Brock Lesnar is going to disrespect The Undertaker like that? No. No, I don't believe that part of the report. Lesnar will be fully prepared. Undertaker will make sure Lesnar is fully prepared. Undertaker for Sheamus? God, no. God, no. I don't want to see that at all. That would be a fucking disgraceful WrestleMania 30 match. That doesn't scream WrestleMania at all. That don't even scream Monday Night Raw to me. I don't want to see that at all. But the Big Show and Lesnar, this was supposed to be going on. I really don't care. Big Show, I'm just glad he's off TV for now. Away from the main event scene. He's floating around in the tag team division with Rey Mysterio. I'm happy that Mark Henry is now taking Big Show's spot. Lesnar destroyed Mark Henry. They'll probably have a match. There's rumors going around that Lesnar and Batista will get into some kind of altercation at the Royal Rumble. Maybe Brock Lesnar's going to screw Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's going to screw Batista out of the Royal Rumble victory, or Batista will win the Royal Rumble, and then Lesnar's going to sneak attack him at the end. This is the shit I'm reading. So WWE is all over the place right now. Nobody knows where they're going. They don't even know where they're going. All we're hearing is rumors and, bits and pieces of what they want to do. But us as fans, we will know more, obviously, after the Royal Rumble is over. That's where it starts. That's where we're going to have a better idea of where they're going with WrestleMania as soon as the Royal Rumble is concluded. Now, it has also been reported that WWE had planned, like I said, for Lesnar to face the Big Show at this year's Royal Rumble pay-per-view, but that obviously has changed because Lesnar went at it with Mark Henry in his return on Monday Night Raw. Word coming out of Raw is that Big Show was originally scripted for the brawl on Raw, but it was changed to feature Mark Henry instead. This could mean Lesnar versus Henry will take place at the Royal Rumble. Regardless of who his opponent is, Lesnar is scheduled to wrestle at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, but probably not in the 30-man match. That's kind of disappointing. I would love to see Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble. But if they go with the route of Mark Henry versus Brock Lesnar, that'll be interesting. It'll be a nice way to solidify him as a, just to give that added oomph, that push, just to show the audience that he's a fucking beast. But, I would love to see him in the Royal Rumble match. Who's to say that he's not going to, throw his 2 cents in the match? But, if he's going to have a match with Mark Henry, I do see him kind of interfering on someone's behalf. So, Lesnar, I'm kind of disappointed that he won't be in the match, but if he fights Mark Henry at the end, I'm not going to be upset with that. After the destruction he caused Mark Henry, I doubt Mark Henry will even show at the Royal Rumble. He was legitimately hurt. He had some bruised ribs, and he was all banged up. Lesnar's a fucking beast. He's an animal. He's not human. But, like I said, I would really love Lesnar to be in the Rumble match, but apparently WWE's going with the Mark Henry versus Lesnar match at the Royal Rumble, which is not yet official, but according to reports, that's the way, they're going to go. So, you heard it here first. According to PWInsider.com, regarding John Cena's plans for WrestleMania 30, the most recent talk had him teaming or aligning with Hulk Hogan in some way. I've been reporting this for a couple of weeks now. This indicates that WWE is close to signing Hogan to a deal. Several ideas with Hogan have been discussed among WWE creative, including Cena having Hogan in his corner for a singles match, and Cena and Hogan versus the Real Americans Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro. WWE officials have also discussed bringing in Roddy Piper for WrestleMania 30. Ideas being discussed right now involving Piper include Cena and Hogan versus Piper and another heel, Hogan and Piper versus Swagger and Cesaro, or Hogan versus Piper in a Legend singles match. Jesus Christ, this is fucking terrible. This is absolutely fucking awful. Everything that I just read off to you is absolutely fucking garbage. Garbage. Did you guys listen to what I just told you? Do you believe the WWE? This is rumors coming out of WWE. Every scenario that I just mentioned there would be absolutely fucking horrible for WrestleMania 30. It really would. It really would. Absolutely terrible. There's no way. There's no way I want to see Piper versus Hogan. What are you, out of your fucking mind? Piper versus Hogan. Piper and another heel versus Cena and Hogan. Again, who wants to see that? Who wants to see anything regarding Piper at WrestleMania 30? Maybe a Piper's Pit, but Piper in a match? Out of your fucking mind. And then again, Hogan and Cena versus the Real Americans, Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro? I mean, why? Well, where the fuck did that come? How are they gonna get into a scuffle before WrestleMania? So you're telling me you're gonna pull John Cena away from a Randy Orton storyline to maybe just push him against the Real Americans? I mean, does that make any sense to you? Does it make any sense to you? Everything I just read to you screams desperation, in my honest opinion, for WWE. If anything, you put Cena versus Hogan at WrestleMania, if that's what you want. If you want to make the money, you book Cena versus Hogan. Fuck all the other scenarios, but this is, again, coming out of the rumor mill. This is PW Insider. Take this shit with a grain of salt. Again, WWE doesn't know what they want to do, and it's apparent by what I just read to you. Because if the WWE is having this much trouble for WrestleMania 30, I mean, can you imagine how the build to these matches is going to be? They can't even plan out what they want to have happen at the event. Can you imagine the storylines and the build for these matches? Absolutely terrible. I hope none of what I just read to you comes to be. I don't want it. I don't want Piper anywhere near WrestleMania. I mean, Hogan versus Cena I would like to see. I'm being truthfully honest with you. That would be a fucking classic, one-on-one confrontation. You got, the Hulk Hogan of today and John Cena versus Hulk Hogan himself at WrestleMania 30. That would be fantastic. That would be, obviously a moneymaker. But everything else, Real Americans, Piper, throw it out the window. It's not going to happen. Hopefully WWE has some common sense and doesn't go any of those routes for WrestleMania 30. Luke Harper has received praise from producers backstage for his Raw match against Daniel Bryan a few weeks back. WWE officials remain high on Luke Harper. I figured I'd just throw that in there. That was in the news this week. Luke Harper has been impressive. The Wyatt family has been impressive as a unit. I'm liking what I see from the Wyatt family. And to me, like I always say, they're one of the best things on WWE TV right now. As seen on Monday's Raw, Daniel Bryan joined the Wyatt family after there had been plans for him to move on from the feud after the Royal Rumble. This is going to piss a lot of people off right now. Word coming out of Raw is that Bryan joining the Wyatts was a rushed program with no out when the decision was made. So pretty much what this article is saying, that the WWE backed themselves into a corner with absolutely no escape. A source pointed to the lack of logic in Bryan, saying that he can't beat the machine, no matter what he does, because the Wyatt family has nothing to do with the machine, a.k.a. the Authority. At one point, a few months ago, there was a plan for the Authority to tie in with the Wyatt family, but the confusion goes back to WWE's out-of-control, on-the-fly booking as of late. Now, I don't know what you guys think. I already got people in my comment section saying they're going to give up on this angle. They give up on Daniel Bryan. Please don't give up on Daniel Bryan. Do not give up on Daniel Bryan. Now, what I originally said on my Monday Night Raw review, if you guys missed that, the link will be down below. I think it would make most sense for Daniel Bryan to remain heel if they want to stick with the storyline. Have him be heel. Have Shawn Michaels come out of retirement. Have him be the born-again Christian, speaking the true word of God, believing in his faith, trying to rub that off on Daniel Bryan, who's brainwashed by Bray Wyatt. They go head-to-head at WrestleMania. All of a sudden, Daniel Bryan loses to Shawn Michaels, snaps out of it. They embrace in the ring, hug, shake hands, whatever. Shawn Michaels goes off into the sunset, retires again. Daniel Bryan turns face in front of the WrestleMania crowd, and there you got it. Plain and simple. That's the simple, safe way. Now, what my brother Frank mentioned, and I mentioned this story to him, I mentioned this news article to him, and he said, you know what, Jerry, what about this? What about Bray Wyatt really believing Daniel Bryan is in the Wyatt family? What if Daniel Bryan is in the Wyatt family but internally wants to break them down? What if it's all a fucking troll, a fool? You know, he's playing Bray Wyatt for a fool. He's going to use the Wyatt family to advance himself later on that night into the Royal Rumble. It's going to come down to Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan as the last two guys. Now, obviously, Daniel Bryan is in the Wyatt family. Bray Wyatt's the leader. Bray Wyatt has Daniel Bryan under his control and is ordering Daniel Bryan to eliminate himself, so Bray Wyatt goes on to WrestleMania and is the #1 contender for the WWE Championship. At that point, before Daniel Bryan eliminates himself, snaps out of it, turns around and says, no, it's me and you. I'm the one that's going to win the Royal Rumble. And then he ends up eliminating Bray Wyatt. Turns face all of a sudden. Everybody loves him. He's celebrating. He's going to go on to WrestleMania in the main event, going to challenge for the WWE Championship. That's the only way I see them getting out of this entire mess if they did not even want to go through with this storyline. Now, that makes sense to me. I like that idea. My brother's a smart guy. You know, I obviously thought immediately they're tying into this, you know, the devil made me do it, and, you know, the brainwashing and the whole, you know, witchcraft type bullshit that they got going on with the Wyatt family. I thought it would be a decent idea for Shawn Michaels to come out and say, listen, you know, I'm a man of God. I changed my faith. I did wrong in the past as well. You know, you're going away from, you know, the goodness of God and all that shit. Tie in the religion thing with Bray Wyatt. I think it would make sense. But I like my brother's idea better. I think that would be actually very epic if it was Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan, the last two in the Royal Rumble, and Daniel Bryan pretty much says, fuck you, I'm winning the Royal Rumble, eliminates Bray Wyatt, and goes on to WrestleMania and wins the WWE Championship. That's what I ultimately want to happen. Out of all of this, I don't give a fuck how they get there. I want Daniel Bryan in the main event at WrestleMania. I want him to win the WWE Championship. But I don't think that's going to happen because they have no idea what the fuck they want to do. And to be quite honest with you, the reason the WWE turned him heel is because the WWE has lost control of Daniel Bryan's character. Daniel Bryan is bigger than the WWE right now. And if you don't believe those words that are coming out of my mouth, you are quite honestly a fool. Daniel Bryan's face reactions is greater than anything on the WWE roster done by any WWE superstar. No question. He is the face of the company, whether you admit it or not, more so than John Cena. John Cena has you know, the money and the fame, and he's been there doing it for the last 11 years. Daniel Bryan came out of nowhere. Daniel Bryan came out of nowhere, and this was a product of Triple H. Triple H and the whole fucking, you know, trying to overtake the authority angle made him this popular. It made him this popular. He was popular in the summertime, but he literally exploded, you know, in the feud with Randy Orton, trying to overtake the authority. The championship matches with Randy Orton did it. Over the top. Now the WWE wants to scale that back? Are you kidding me? Triple H wants to kill what he created? Why? Why? You throw money away. You got one of the hottest wrestlers in the world on your roster. You don't know what the fuck to do with him. WWE right now is making a colossal mistake turning Daniel Bryan heel. It should have never happened. And it shows you the people they got working for them are absolutely fucking brainless. The WWE wants to control everybody that works for them, and they're showing it with Daniel Bryan. They do not want something that is not conceived and concocted on their own. WWE Creative and the higher-ups in WWE do not want to let this manifest anymore because Daniel Bryan is not a product of their machine. He has broken away and is giving you everything that he has, and his entire face turn, his entire face reaction is organic. It is a product of people genuinely liking him, and WWE hates that. That's why he's a fucking heel right now. And it pisses me off as a fan to see this fucking go on. Political bullshit that doesn't belong in the WWE. They're losing money. They're absolutely losing money with Daniel Bryan as a heel. Easy. Easy. The kid should be WWE champion. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. At WrestleMania, if I was booking this event, Daniel Bryan would be in the championship match. I don't give a fuck how predictable it is. He would go on to win the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. This is a mistake. And this is exactly why the WWE is doing this. And my brother with the scenario is the only fucking way out if they don't want to go ahead with this angle. That is the only way. And if you guys have any other ideas about how you would, handle this Daniel Bryan heel turn, let me know. Because I gave you a damn good reasoning behind it. And the Shawn Michaels-Bryan match, that's a damn good way out. My brother gave you one with the Royal Rumble, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan at the end of the Royal Rumble. You guys let me know what you think. Do you like Daniel Bryan as a heel or a face? And how would you pretty much book yourself out of this fucking mess that WWE Creative pretty much got themselves in? It's a fucking mess, and that's all it is. Figure 4 W Online reports that WWE has sent out a memo stating that Chris Benoit footage will be allowed on its new network broadcasts. There will be an advisory played before every show he appears on. WWE is expected to announce the network in Las Vegas early next week. I'm glad that Chris Benoit is going to be shown. I was a Chris Benoit fan. Obviously, with, the whole thing that he murdered his family, WWE doesn't want any part of that. But, listen, you can't escape history. He's part of your history. Why not embrace the good that he did and forget about the past? Enough of this bullshit already. He's had some of the best matches that we've seen. He was an incredible in-ring performer. He made a mistake. He killed his family. It is what it is. How long are you going to fucking, let this bother you? You're keeping the fucking guy off TV. He's not in the Hall of Fame. He's never going to get into the Hall of Fame. He's pretty much been outcast ever since this shit happened. Obviously, you got so much footage of, Chris Benoit. People want to see Chris Benoit. So, WWE, I think, is doing the right thing by including him. And if they want to put advisory, before they actually show any footage with Chris Benoit, so be it. Whatever. Chris Benoit is going to be shown on the WWE Network. The Wrestling Observer newsletter still reports that Bray Wyatt versus John Cena is planned for WrestleMania 30. Obviously, this is not going to happen. I don't know where these fucking reports are getting their news from, but I heard a few people on YouTube, comment on this. It is planned right now for WrestleMania. It's not going to happen. I noted earlier last week in my News and Rumors, again via PW Insider, that the match was something discussed before WWE decided to unify the titles, and before they made Randy Orton champion, and the idea was that Bray Wyatt could win the Royal Rumble and go on to challenge John Cena. That was what they wanted. Obviously, with Batista coming in, that's not going to happen now. Okay, so just eliminate that from your minds. Bray Wyatt versus John Cena, not going to happen at WrestleMania. That may happen sometime later in 2014, but for WrestleMania, it's not going to happen. The Wrestling Observer newsletter recently reported, again, Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. So you had the Wrestling Observer and PW Insider. They're both reporting. I don't know what was going on, but both newsletters were reporting Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. That was the current plan for WrestleMania 30. Word going around WWE right now is that John Cena versus Bray Wyatt was not something that was discussed recently. The idea of doing that match came up over a month ago with the idea that Bray Wyatt could win the Royal Rumble and challenge Cena for the title at WrestleMania 30. However, this storyline was mapped out before WWE made the decision to unify the titles at TLC, before they made Randy Orton champion, and before the announcement of Batista's return to the WWE. There is now a feeling that within WWE, that Batista will win the Royal Rumble and challenge whoever the title holder is at WrestleMania 30. This doesn't mean that we won't see Wyatt versus Cena sometime down the line, but most likely not at WrestleMania, as WWE has all the plans for Cena going into the big event. Now, one thing I take out of that, which I already told you, Cena versus Wyatt, eliminate that, not going to happen right now. Batista winning the Royal Rumble shouldn't happen. Should not happen. You're going to have a part-timer come in who hasn't been there, what, 4 years, 5 years now? And you're going to have him win the Royal Rumble? Does anybody want to see Batista in the main event at WrestleMania? I don't. Batista has not been on programming in years. Do you think it's right to anybody else on the roster who's fighting for a main event spot that he comes in for his first match and wins the Royal Rumble and gets a WWE Championship match? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. I mean, have him, if you guys want, do something else with The Undertaker and put him against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Have Lesnar fuck him out of a Royal Rumble win. You know? Lesnar's a machine. Lesnar's the monster. He's going to destroy Mark Henry at the Royal Rumble. Why not? Pick Batista as your next target. Why? Why do you have to have Batista in the main event at WrestleMania against Randy Orton? I don't want to pay to see that match. I certainly won't care about that match. Really. It needs to be somebody else but Batista. I hope the reports are wrong. But that's the breakdown of Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. Not going to happen. Batista, a lot of people in WWE have a feeling that Batista is going to win the Rumble. I hope that doesn't happen. And I'll talk about that as we get closer to the event. I'll give you my preview and predictions for one of the big four Royal Rumble closer as we get to the event. News on Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio's leg is said to be getting stronger, and he's trying to work his way back into normal ring shape. Regarding CM Punk seeming to show frustration online, people are noting that Punk always talks about leaving when he gets frustrated, but the feeling is that he won't leave. At least, not now. Also, before CM Punk defeated The Shield in the Monday Night Raw Dark Main Event from Richmond, Virginia, he came out and cut a promo encouraging fans to keep supporting Daniel Bryan, even though he had joined the Wyatt family. Punk said Bryan would not let anyone down. WWE's website has the video of Punk and other superstars reacting to Daniel Bryan's heel turn. Now, this always comes up. I hear Punk is hurt. I hear Punk is frustrated. I hear Punk is, upset with the direction of the product, the direction of his character. I'm hearing right now that Triple H versus CM Punk is an automatic lock for WrestleMania. So, Triple H versus CM Punk at WrestleMania more than likely will happen. Okay, so my hope and dream of having Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk, obviously that's long gone. And I've been preaching that for weeks now. Triple H versus CM Punk seems to be the way that they're going. That's what I heard. That's what I read last. Now, I also heard that the WWE is going to do one of those Summer of Punk angles where, he does something just against the entire WWE and the politics against the WWE. He's going to speak out. And then, obviously, that's going to lead to a match against Batista. Now, obviously, Batista probably going into a program with CM Punk obviously needs to be the heel. CM Punk is going to be the face. And that's that. But that's what I'm hearing right now. I'm hearing that they're going to have another Summer of Punk angle following WrestleMania, leading from SummerSlam into the SummerSlam main event. And that's where Batista and CM Punk are actually going to collide. It may be for the WWE title. I don't know at this point. We don't know if Batista is going to win the Royal Rumble yet. I don't know, but that's what I'm reading. That was the last I read. I read this on Friday night. So that is a recent news article. So you guys can expect Punk versus Triple H, and then what WWE wants to have happen, like I just said, Batista versus Punk at SummerSlam. We'll see what happens. Now, the Ultimate Warrior is also expected to have some kind of role at WrestleMania 30. More than likely a Hall of Fame induction, long overdue for Mr. Jim Hellwig. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Eddie Edwards, this is an interesting story, and one that just, again, fucking pisses me off as a WWE fan. Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards won't be back at the next set of WWE NXT tapings, and they aren't going to be offered a WWE contract. Apparently, Triple H did not want to sign them after their tryout because of their size. The feeling is that they are loaded with guys who aren't big, that can go. So the mentality coming out of the tryouts is that the WWE is looking for guys who can headline WrestleMania in 5 to 10 years. A lot of people went to bat for Richards and Edwards with the feeling that they should get a deal, and several people pushed for them to go straight to the main roster. It said that Triple H made the decision not to sign them after the NXT tapings where they lost to the Ascension. So you got Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards from Ring of Honor, two of the most colorful, best athletic guys you can have in a wrestling ring, and Triple H doesn't want to sign them. I really don't even know what to say about this article. I really don't. Apparently, everything I had hoped and thought about Triple H, knowing what the fans wanted, knowing what to do with the company, obviously, he has let me down. He has let the fans down. He has let the internet community, the wrestling community, down on the internet, on the everywhere. Why? Because of their size. This is what people want to see nowadays. They want to see people like Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards in a WWE ring. We want to see guys like Daniel Bryan. We want to see guys like CM Punk. We want to see guys like Damien Sandow. We want to see guys like Dolph Ziggler. We don't want to see guys that are fucking 400 pounds and can't wrestle, with their only move being a knife-edge chop. I don't want to see it. But apparently Triple H feels that it's a good idea that these two guys don't belong in the WWE, and again, yet another mistake. They already let Cassius Ohno go. They let Chris Hero go, Cassius Ohno. They released Ricky Steamboat's son. I mean, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know what they're looking for. But apparently, Triple H doesn't know what the fuck he is doing. And this story upsets me because Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards are two guys built. Their build as a wrestler is what I want to see on WWE TV. I don't want to see anything else. The whole larger-than-life thing that I reported back a few months back, nobody wants to see that. I know nobody wants to see that. WWE apparently feels that they need to have these guys who are, big and massive and strong and this and that and the face of the WWE. Listen, I don't expect anyone to be the face of the WWE. Give them a fucking shot and see what they got. Nobody believed Daniel Bryan. Nobody believed him about Daniel Bryan in anything. And now look at him. Look at him now. Point proven. CM Punk, same thing. Point proven. I don't understand it. Never will. Triple H, another colossal mistake on his part. Triple H may have teased the main event for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in February when talking about the chase for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He mentioned 6 superstars being at the top: Batista, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Randy Orton, CM Punk, and Daniel Bryan. That would be one hell of a Elimination Chamber main event. So, get ready. I would not be surprised at all if we've seen all 6 of those guys in the Elimination Chamber. And finally, guys, regarding speculation surrounding Steve Austin making an appearance at WrestleMania 30, word is that if he does appear, it will not be as an active wrestler. Austin has talked privately about working with CM Punk in the past, but Punk is currently scheduled to face Triple H at WrestleMania 30. Word within WWE is that Austin has not been receptive to the idea of working a match this year, which, given his age, may completely close the window on Austin ever wrestling again. Now, I would not close the door on Steve Austin wrestling. I know the WWE is going to have a WrestleMania. I don't know which WrestleMania, but it's going to be in Dallas. It's going to be at Cowboy Stadium, okay, in Arlington. And that's where Steve Austin's going to come out of retirement. That's where he's going to have his last match, and that's where he's going to wrestle at one final WrestleMania. No question. Steve Austin is the kind of guy that wants to be the spotlight. You got Batista coming back. You got Brock Lesnar. You got The Undertaker. You got Shawn Michaels potentially coming back. On a card that's going to be that loaded, Steve Austin doesn't want to be, outshined. So, obviously, he's going to wait for Texas. He's going to wait to be in his home crowd. And he's going to wrestle CM Punk. And that may be CM Punk's last match as well. Who the fuck knows? But I do expect Austin to wrestle one more match at WrestleMania in Texas. It's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen next year. WrestleMania 32, I believe, is when WWE's coming to Cowboy Stadium. But, what do I know? I'm just giving you my opinion on that. But I do expect Austin to wrestle one more time and at WrestleMania. That is your news and rumors, guys. Full of rumors and WrestleMania, tidbits. I don't know what's going to happen at WrestleMania. WWE doesn't know what the fuck they want to do. They're all over the place. There's ideas thrown left and right. They don't have one solid idea. But from what I gather, right now, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, even though Undertaker wants to work with Daniel Bryan, I still see Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. It's just been talked about for so long. And I've read countless reports the Undertaker wants Lesnar at WrestleMania. If the Undertaker wants Lesnar at WrestleMania, obviously he's good to go. So I don't believe those reports about the Undertaker being injured. Then you got CM Punk versus Triple H. You're going to have Hogan in there somehow. You know, where Daniel Bryan fits into this, I don't know. Shawn Michaels, we got the question mark about him coming back. I mean, the WWE has got so many fucking holes to fill. You know, it's all going to culminate. It's all going to be finished with the Royal Rumble. We'll have a better idea of what's going to happen at WrestleMania when the Royal Rumble finishes. But all I know, Royal Rumble, Batista doesn't need to win. He doesn't need to win. I really don't want to see Batista win the Royal Rumble. If it does, it's going to be one big letdown on January 26th. But hope you enjoyed that, guys. News and rumors. Let me know what you think down below on all the top stories. If you missed my Monday Night Raw review, link is down below as well. I am working on a new series for my WWE guys. It's going to be Behind the Mic with JD, talking about random WWE topics outside of news and rumors and outside of Monday Night Raw. And I'm going to try and get that off the ground soon. Look forward to that. I'm going to have my boy Isaac try and make me a thumbnail on that. And like I said, guys, let me know what you think down below in the comments about this week's top stories. I will be back for old school Monday Night Raw on Tuesday morning. Look forward to that review, guys. I'm out. Take care. Be safe out there if you got hit with the snow. And I will see you all following Monday Night Raw on Tuesday. Take care, guys.